Hi, I'm Nabila, and this is Group 13's Summer Art Project on Weiwei. Group 13 has Cameron Pearce, Janny Pham, Nabila Pranto, Jane Quebedeaux, and Jake Richards. So who is Weiwei? He was born May 18, 1957 in Beijing, China. China is known to be a communist government, and not only is Weiwei a Chinese artist, but he is also an activist. A lot of his work was inspired by the forms of repression he and his family faced from Chinese authorities. His creative work includes sculptures, architecture, photography, and videos. So we decided to choose the artwork called Dropping a Han Dynasty Vase from 1995. What initially drew us to this piece was the transgressive nature of it. We know that the Han Dynasty was known for the golden age of China. This is when there was development in civil service and government structure, as well as scientific advancements, and the destruction of the Han Dynasty had a negative effect on the working class of the people in China. In this photo, Triptych Weiwei is depicted deliberately destroying an ancient piece of artwork. It allows us to question whether something should be considered valuable because it's old. Obviously, him breaking this vase means no. Reaction. So what is it? It's a black and white photograph of an urn from the Han Dynasty being dropped and shattered on the ground. Our initial reaction comes as a natural response. We're kind of shocked, a little startled, kind of scared and anxious, kind of like when we spill red wine on a white carpet. All of a sudden, this uneasy, unsettling, and restlessness starts to creep in, and it kind of reminds us of when we drop something of our own that's fragile and prized to us. But just because something is destroyed or destructed, it doesn't mean that it's gone forever. This could be the start of something new. So, description. We're looking at 3 black and white photos of Weiwei dropping the urn. In the first photo, we can see him letting it go. The second is the urn in the mid-air. And the last one is the urn shattered on the ground. You can see that his facial expression is the same in all 3 photos. It's more of a sarcastic, ironic, sorry, not sorry that I dropped it. He's not really throwing it down, like his hands are in the same position, so it's not more of an angry tone, but almost like a nonchalant feeling to it, as if he purposefully dropped it and didn't care that it was destroyed. The black and white of the photos really makes a serious tone and a somber tone. It can also symbolize history. Black and white photos are associated with the past, so it simplifies the photos so that the only focus would be the urn dropping. He's also wearing plain clothing, a long sleeve t-shirt and jeans with a simple background, and it's probably to highlight and symbolize the normal working class people who are really affected by the Han Dynasty leadership. So, formal characterization of this artwork is that these are 3 silver or black and white gelatin prints, and the prints are monochromatic. So this allows us to have a stronger focus on the shapes within the piece and the implied motion of the vase's fall through each image. Each image is of the same man centered in the frame, and it allows the viewer to focus on the primary difference between each of the images falling vase. And the nature of the prints, the order of it, allows us to read the piece from left to right, moving steadily down. Historical and cultural context. So, like I said before, China has a communist government. Weiwei has been quoted saying, "It's powerful only because someone thinks it's powerful and invests value in the object." This is important because the Han Dynasty is something that is very old. It's also seen as something that's powerful. You can look at anything and put power to it if you think that it has that value. So Weiwei letting go of the social and cultural structures that express the value is what he's trying to depict by breaking this vase. And he's also been quoted saying, "Chairman Mao used to tell us that we can only build a new world if we destroy the old one." So the idea behind this photograph is, in order to build a new society, they must destroy the 4 olds, which are old customs, habits, cultures, and ideas. So our interpretation. So this piece isn't only trying to create controversy, but also indicates the desire for change. We're not destroying something that has economic value, but something that has extreme cultural and historical significance. He is trying to depict the destruction of the past and moving on from the times of the Mao regime. Many would think that this action is very unethical and it shouldn't have been done. But by doing so, Weiwei is demonstrating heritage loss and preservation of that in his artwork. So in the aesthetic theory evaluation, Weiwei makes good use of the expressionist and formalist techniques, and because of the formal elements found in the use of triptych, it allows viewers to witness the sequence of events leading to the breakage of the vase, and the achromatic colors speaks to the expressionist side because the achromatic colors add to the serious tone and important message of one's culture. But this photography work is more successful in the postmodern and pragmatist techniques or theories, and for the postmodern, Weiwei's use of the ancient urn as a ready-made, it mirrors the works of Duchamp, which we can see on the left side here. This gives the piece a sense of place and time because of the antique's oriental style of the vase and the era of the Chinese culture that it reflects. The nature of this artwork is also very controversial, so it's destroying an important piece of the Chinese culture. He decides to destroy this vase to represent the removal of old Chinese customs into more of a modern culture. And this is an important statement because of its sense of resistance against the strict rules of the Chinese government. The stark destructive actions of the image definitely accomplish its job in catching the eye of the viewer and causing the viewer to experience a vast range of emotions. So in conclusion, Weiwei's Han Dynasty piece was chosen by our group because this has a meaningful message about culture. It was inspired by his personal experience with repression found within the Chinese government and strict sense of Chinese culture. The triptych piece depicts Weiwei dropping an actual Han Dynasty vase, and many believe that this work represents the leaving of behind old Chinese customs and practices. So this piece became really representative of the current rise of China's globalization. And in the end, this piece, we can relate the contents of this to our class because of its use of expression of political and cultural issues and criticism in China. Weiwei also speaks on other social issues still to this day. He has been interviewed on the concerns of coronavirus, and obviously that has to do with his home country, so he has been really active in speaking on about that. And these are our sources, and this is the end of our presentation for Weiwei.